Good evening to the Makah community. Today is Friday, September 4th, 2020. My name is TJ Green, Chairman for the Makah Tribe. This message is brought to you on behalf of the entire Makah Tribal Council, Vice Chairman Keith Johnson Sr., Treasurer Patrick DePoe, Councilman John Itis Sr., and Councilman George Chad Beauchamp. The Makah Tribal Council would like to thank the community for taking the COVID-19 global pandemic seriously and adhering to the precautions and all the public health protocols that we have been under during this time. Due to the early and ongoing efforts of the community, we've been able to control early cases and prevent the spread of COVID-19 throughout our village. We are at 48 days with no new cases and over 4 weeks without having any individuals or households in official quarantine. While Clown County had a significant spike in August, the rate of new cases there and around the state seemed to be slowing. This is hopeful news, but should be taken with some caution. There are still many asymptomatic people throughout the county, and perhaps as many as 1 in 20 may be carrying the virus and not know they are carrying it. We are aware that it has been difficult to remain in the current phase that we are in and has been an extended amount of time. Our first priority is to keep our community safe and to avoid a wave which could overwhelm our limited healthcare services, both here in Nia Bay and our surrounding hospitals. We have remained in phase 1 for this amount of time due to the county-wide increase in positive cases, which were a result of social gatherings. We have been able to avoid an increase in cases here in our community because of our community's early and ongoing preventative efforts, and we thank you for that. The quick response to the first cases that we had, by our departments, by our health care professionals, and then also by the families that were involved, and we just want to thank all of those people that did all of those preventative measures and took the necessary quarantine and isolation measures to keep the rest of us safe and isolating themselves due to possible exposure at that time. It has not been easy to socially isolate. I would like to remind the community that each household has the ability to establish a pod if they so choose. Some pods limit physical socialization and don't wear masks or practice physical distancing with other pod members. It's important that you strictly adhere to other types of interactions with people outside of your pod, that you avoid those if you are going to form a pod of that manner. Other pods interact with multiple groups of people, so the members wear masks within the pod as a way to protect themselves and others. A pod is only successful if safety measures are taken and adhered to. If you choose to establish a pod, make a plan with other pod members around the pod's boundaries and adhere to those, and be forthcoming with your pod members should there be any possible risks or exposures that are encountered during that time. We're keeping a close eye on many indicators that determine moving from one phase to another. What we observed over the last 2 months is that the virus activity increased significantly more than expected, and there never was a break from the first wave. This caused most jurisdictions to put a freeze on advancing phases. Here we have local circumstances that are unique. We value the lives of all our members, and especially those with underlying health conditions, which is a significant percentage of our population. The most susceptible members that we are protecting are the teachers of generational wisdom, who are holding the teachings of our culture, of our language, our songs, dances, our arts, and our ceremonies, the knowledge surrounding our traditional foods, how we hunt, how we gather, our retired fishermen. Those are all the people that we are most concerned about. The treasures that they hold and that they carry with them are important to the survival of the Makah culture. We want to make sure that they are able to pass on these rich teachings into the future. Additionally, fishing is something the council is very concerned about and wants to make sure that we can exercise those access to those treaty resources in a safe manner. It's one of the most dangerous, high-risk industries. We want to preserve the safety of our fishers and their families. We want to, keep the community as safe as possible as we continue on with our fishing season, which we have plans to do in the upcoming weeks. Mental health is a high priority for the Tribal Council. We understand how important our mental health is during this time. That's why we've allowed and made plans around allowing pods to be added to the public health protocols. Behavioral health providers have remained available to the community and are able to meet with patients through a telephone call or a Zoom session. If you're in need of these services, please call the Wellness Center at 360-645-2075. Once again, if you're in need of behavioral health services, call the Wellness Center at 360-645-2075. Makah Recovery Services has also remained in operation, and those services can be accessed by calling 360-645-2461. That's, once again, Makah Recovery Services phone number is 360-645-2461. All other information about health-related services can be found at the Sophie Tredevick Indian Health Center website at www.stihc.org. Once again, that website address is www.stihc.org. The Makah Tech Team, has been working to implement a wireless network over the reservation. That's in high need during these times, both for work, for education, higher education, and making sure that we educate our children in school, with school being back in session. And so, we have a wireless network over the reservation that's in development and planning. We hope to reach 99% of the homes in Nia Bay with guaranteed speeds of at least 25 megabytes on a download and 3 megabytes on an upload. They've deployed 10 test units to see how the signal is working in hard-to-reach areas such as Diot Hill. And we've been awarded funding for an additional 30 more test units. The test homes were selected based on the needs of the network, as the tech team wants to make sure the network is fully functional before everyone is connected. This means that homes were selected based on their location, size of household, and some were based on the lay of the land, the obstructions of trees and the mountainous countries and hillsides that we have, so we can make sure that the network can perform in those areas as well. The next 30 homes will be selected using the same criteria, as well as additional consultation with the elementary principal to target homes that are both in ideal locations for testing, as well as meeting the needs of people that have no or low connectivity in those areas. We expect the pilot testing to continue through October. The members of the tech team are working on grants to pay for the project and are doing all that can be done to keep the costs low as possible for our community. This network is expected to be in place by December 2020. And questions regarding this can be directed towards Crystal Hoddaway. You can email her at crystal.hoddaway@makah.com or by calling her at 360-640-0073. The tribal organization supports its employees as the new school year begins, and management is working with their staff on balancing the work needs at the same time as their children's needs. We also encourage other employers to be supportive and flexible with staff who are caring for children at this time. There have been some changes made to improve the process for non-resident, non-Makahs to apply to visit the reservation. This can be found on the stihc.org website, the Sophie Tredevick Indian Health Center website. If you go to that go to that website location. Once again, that's stihc.org, and click on Visiting Nia Bay. You will see information about visiting the reservation and a button that you can click to fill out an application. You can forward the link to that form directly to someone who needs to visit. Applications will be responded to within 2 weeks, and there is also a 2-week notice that should be given in advance to make sure that it's processed and reviewed in a proper manner. It's important to keep in mind that one of the main reasons that we've been so successful is by limiting visitors to our community. While this is a huge sacrifice for many of us to not have our loved ones visit the way that we're used to, it's been very critical to keeping our community safe. Want to also let the community know about a few changes in our funeral policies. Our community has suffered many losses during this time of the pandemic, not related to the COVID-19 disease, but nevertheless, we have had passings of loved ones during this time, and that makes it extremely difficult to get through the grieving process. We've had to make some difficult decisions around how we hold services and who is allowed to be here and come to the reservation during that time. Currently, the policy that's in place allows non-Makahs from out of town, if you're non-Makah, and out of town if your loved ones are non-Makah and don't live within the community and they want to attend the service at the graveside, they may do so, but must depart immediately afterwards. When traveling into Clallam County or beyond, we ask people to continue to take the precautions that they've been taking. People have been doing a great job in doing that. Also, some of the numbers have remained steady. We want to limit travel as much as possible. But if you do leave, follow all those health precautions as you've been doing. And especially since we've had, some of those recent spikes within the county area. Some of that is currently coming down. We need to continue to watch that. Hopefully that continues to drop within Clallam County and that the whole county as a whole will become safer. I think that's about it. It's a holiday weekend, Labor Day holiday. School has started. The kids, please get out there. Support your kids through their educational process. Ask about their day, ask about their assignments, and we all need to be involved in that. It's a very important time to get those kids on schedule, getting them up in the morning, getting them breakfast, and a big shout out to our school district that's been out there delivering the meals, and also to our Head Start who's been delivering meals throughout this pandemic. We appreciate that. Families are very grateful to have that service provided, and we're thankful and hopeful that that those things can continue as long as we're in this situation. All right, everyone have a great and safe holiday weekend. Take care. Kloko Shu.